Hello, English students. Welcome back after 1 week off from me not making videos because the YouTube was down here at the lab. And yes, this is a lab. This is the attic. It's not my garage. And I don't want to necessarily say this is the school, because it's kind of depressing if you thought this was the school. This is the attic. This is the storage room for the school. It's private, so I come up here to make my videos. Anyway. So we're rounding out the semester for semester 1. It's coming quick. Less than 4 weeks left. Wow. So I'd just like to encourage you to get your work done. Do your best, because semester 1 and semester 2, the grades will be averaged together. And if you're thinking, I'm just going to take a break this semester, just chill out, and then I'll maybe catch up at the end. Don't do that, because it's all related. We're going to average the 2 grades to make a final grade. Keep up with the work. Please do your best. Please don't procrastinate. Makes my job harder. Makes your job harder. And just all around, it's just not very good practice. So what I'd like to talk about today is hopefully going to be universal across the board to all my classes, but I'd like to talk about some components of academic writing, specifically essay writing, but really it applies to any type of writing, creative writing. So when I think, because you will have major writing assignments at least quarterly, and so what I'd like to do is talk about some of the components of essay writing. Now, when I think of an essay or a larger assignment, I think of, let's say, a farm. Now, when you go to a farm, I'm not talking about the huge cash crop farms where you just have, where the farmer just plants corn and harvests corn. I'm not talking about that kind. I'm talking about the traditional, Charlotte's Web type farm where you have one of every animal, most likely one of every crop. And when you go to this farm, you have the pigs in their pen, you have the horses in their stable, you have the cows out in the pasture, you got the corn kind of designated in their spot in the plot of land, you've got the carrots growing in their little rows, you've got the potatoes where they're supposed to be. You got the tomatoes, where they need to be. You've got the cat kind of running around the house, inside the house, chasing the mice, eating the mice. You got the dogs eating the cats. No, I'm just kidding. They all have their little spots. Now, you're not going to just throw them all together. You're not going to put the pigs in the stable with the horses. That would cause chaos, right? They need to be divided. You're not going to put the cows in the pig pen to eat the slop, right? They need to be out in the pasture eating grass. That's what cows do best, is eat grass. Best milk comes from grass-fed cows. Best meat comes from grass-fed cows. Anyway, so you need them in their designated spots. You're not going to plant corn in the middle of 2 tomato plants. That's just weird, right? This just doesn't work. You need to have them divided up into their own little sections. But each section builds up to the farm as a whole. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So when you think of writing, I want you to think of that farm. Now, you're going to have an essay, let's say, and you're going to have a thesis or something that you're going to prove in your essay. You're going to have a main topic that you are going to address in your entire essay as a whole. Just like that farm has a purpose. The whole farm has a purpose. It's a self-sustaining farm. It provides food of every kind, a well-rounded farm. And that's the purpose, to provide life and food. And so when you write that essay, you're going to have that topic, that main topic, that broad and general topic that you're going to address. But within that essay, you're going to have little paragraphs. Just like you have the different divided sections of your farm. Each paragraph is going to be contributing to that bigger topic, but each paragraph is going to be talking about its own smaller topic, right? So just like you keep the pig pen or the pigs separated from the cows, the pigs have their pig pen, the cows have the pasture, the horses have the stable. The paragraphs are divided up and have their own little topics to the paragraph. Now, when you think of that bigger essay, you're going to divide your essay up, and you're going to think, okay, this is how I'm going to address my topic. And you're going to have smaller topics, topic paragraphs. And each of those paragraphs needs to contain information about that little topic. You can't, if you start bringing in, other information, it's just like, the horses sharing the pig pen. It's just not going to work. It's going to cause chaos. Or it's just like planting carrots amid, tomato plants. It's just not going to work. Or potato plants. It's just not going to work. So you need to divide up your essay into paragraphs, and each of those paragraphs need to do or need to pertain to a certain topic of themselves, all contributing to the bigger whole. Many of you still don't get the idea of paragraphs, and I know I'm not doing a sufficient job in this, but I want to plant some seeds, I guess, into your minds and make you think differently about writing, because I'm seeing some of you write just huge paragraphs and calling that your essay. That's not acceptable. But at the same time, I'm seeing some people divide up paragraphs in their essays, but their paragraphs it's kind of like you're throwing in the horses and the pigs and the cows all in one fence, and having multiple fences, multiple little pens or stables with all these animals in it, and it's just pointless. Instead of having all those paragraphs mixed with all this different information, divide up the paragraphs and make them useful. It helps the reader understand what you're trying to say, helps the writer organize their paper in a logical and rational way that makes sense. And so I hope in giving you this little metaphor or simile, I guess, of how a farm can be like an essay, and how farms are divided up into different sections, each section containing only a specific part, but altogether it creates the farm. I'd like you to think about the essay, where an essay is divided up into paragraphs. Each paragraph has different purposes and parts, but they all contribute to the essay, the thesis, or the main point of your paper. And just like when you go to a farm, when you drive up, you have, let's say, a little gate and probably the farmer's name at the top. And just like that, in an essay, you have an introduction where you're coming up to the farm, or you're coming up to the main part, and you're introducing the reader to your topic. And then you dive right in. That's once you pass through the gate, the introduction, then you get to see all the different components of the paper or the farm. And then, at the end, once you're done touring the farm, you get a conclusion. You get a summary about what the purpose of that farm, what the purpose of that essay is all about. At the end of the paper, you have that conclusion as well. You sum up what you've been trying to create. I hope that made sense. I'm trying to do it as quickly as possible because I don't want to bore you to death. I know you have lots of other work to do. But I'd really like you to take the time and think about your writing in a more logical way, and how to best convey your message. I'd really like you to think about these things as well. I'd also like you to make sure you're proofreading your work. Give it to somebody else to read it. It's just common practice. I would say you could send it to me, and I would have different drafts. Some of you will have that next semester. Well, you will send me first a rough draft, a revised draft, and then a final draft. But not everyone can do that, and it's just really difficult to keep track of everything, especially where you go at your own pace, because I'll be reading a lot if I did it like that, and it would just take up a lot of time. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is really try hard to get somebody that you know to read your writing beforehand. And if you have nobody, or if your family's busy, or your friends are busy, or whatever, please email me, and I'll be more than happy to read your writing beforehand and proofread it, or give you some thoughts on it. I'm certainly not going to go through and correct everything, but I'll give you some pointers on what to look at and look closely to, so that when you finally turn in your final draft, you'll hopefully get the best grade possible. But yeah, I hope you have a great week. Get all your work done. Dive in there. If you're behind, that's okay. Just get in there and work. Dedicate yourself. Just remember that, most students are going to an actual building location for 7 hours a day. Not to mention the homework that they have when they come home from school. But this is your school. You're essentially doing your homework while you're doing your school. And so you save so much more time. And I'd like you to really make sure you're dedicating time every day to schoolwork. And yeah, so I hope you are feeling good. If you have any questions, if you need any help, I'd be more than happy to help. Come into the lab. We can work one-on-one, whatever. So whatever works best for you. We can use Google or the Gmail function, where you can do voice message, chat, whatever it's called. You can instant message me, whatever. I'm here to help. I'm a teacher, right? So please utilize the resources that you have, and have a great week. Bye.